Now, you had mentioned before a tension that I wanted to pick up on, and it's President Eisenhower's thought, and it's also present in the thought of the founding generation, where on the one hand, their political philosophy was very much that all people innately had these human rights, rights to freedom of speech, right to freedom of religion, etc., and yet they did not feel compelled to and actively argued against trying to impose these values on other people through force of arms. Was there any conscious wrangling with that tension in the founders' thought? Like, how did they square that circle?
Well, there isn't really a contradiction if you understand the thought properly, because what they believed was that both individuals and nations had rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of their own perfection. No nation had a right to make that decision for the people of another nation. Jefferson has in the Declaration of Independence, speaks to this very point. He says, whenever a government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Note that he didn't say that when the Iranian people have a government destructive of these ends, it is the right of the American people to abolish it and institute a new government. The Iranian people have that right. It doesn't belong to outsiders. They have the right, and we none, to decide it. And though the founders did believe that there were basic natural rights inherent in individuals, they also had a philosophy of international affairs that respected the independence of the nations and that limited the ability of outsiders to, in effect, claim a divine right to rule the universe. On the contrary, the right of punishment was very much restricted to things that directly affected us, not people in general. So the philosophy that they set forth is actually very coherent on the point of where those rights belong, who has those rights and duties to institute government. And basically, the idea is that every people has a right of revolution. Every people has a right to determine the institutions over which they rule, but it belongs to them. It doesn't belong to outsiders who think they know what's better for them. Because after all, revolution is a very serious thing. Destroying a government throws a people into anarchy and into civil war, which is the worst of all human conditions. It's a very serious thing to do that. One of the interesting points about that whole question is that it was, in critical respects, their daily bread throughout the 1790s, because this was precisely the issue of the European War. And the French had issued a declaration that sought to free all of the oppressed peoples of Europe under French direction. And the counter-revolution said, no, we're going to overthrow the revolutionary government in France. And the American attitude was that neither of those perspectives was legitimate. Each nation had to decide for itself what institutions it would have. Where Hamilton and Jefferson, or the Republicans, or the Federalists and the Republicans differed, was who was most responsible for violating that principle. Was it the French revolutionaries or the counter-revolutionaries? And Hamilton and the Federalists said it was the French. They were the ones who issued these revolutionary decrees. Jefferson said no, it was the Confederacy of Kings that sought to uproot the French Revolution. So they agreed on the principle, but read the political realities and responsibilities in a somewhat different way.